You know what's too bad? That bad things have to happen to make a good story. And that's the case when America loves a comeback. There has to be a fall before there can be a rise. And that's why Ken Roczen's victory today at Hangtown, the opening round, the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, feels so good because it has felt so bad in the past. So here's Honda, who has had nothing but bad luck in their attempt to get to the top level and win 450 championships all the time like they used to. Finally getting a break, and perhaps ironically in some very nasty conditions. So there's Roczen's motorhome behind me, and there's the two team Honda semis. They're packing up. Yeah, it's kind of miserable because it's rainy and muddy, but for once Honda has something to celebrate. They've got a victory. And for Roczen, who, let's see, came within a lap of winning at Oakland last year, came within about an inch of winning in Dallas this year, has had so many opportunities where today was gonna be his day and tonight was gonna be his night, all get ripped away. Finally, it came right at Hangtown. It was a phenomenal performance. 100% guys, give me the thumbs up and the horn. It looked so good in the first moto for Kenny. It was 2016 dominant outdoor style Kenny in the first moto at Hangtown, where he passed like 9 riders in 3 turns, and it was looking good. He won the first moto easily. And even though he wasn't quite feeling 100% physically and maybe wasn't exactly where he wanted to be with his prep before this season began, he left very little doubt that he's getting close to being the old Ken Roczen and the Ken Roczen that Honda was hoping to get 3 years ago. Finally coming true in 2019. But then guess what happened? Yeah, those are storm clouds. We knew they were coming, and they happened, and it almost looked like for a second that it was going to slip away from Kenny again. This is your race recap, brought to you by the folks at Race Tech. You know all about gold valves. Yeah, they're coming on board with the Weege show and the outdoors as well. Your suspension will be plusher, better bottoming resistance, more traction, and it's all designed and engineered right here in the USA. So Moto 2 in the rain. Kenny actually stormed to the lead there, but Eli Tomac, who struggled a bit in the first moto, uncharacteristically 4th on a track at Hangtown where he's had huge success. Tomac bounced back. He actually repassed Roczen for the lead in the second moto and pulled away from there. So Tomac can feel like, okay, first moto was not so good, as he said in the press conference. He just didn't run the pace in the second half of the race. First moto, he can feel good that he's kind of back on his horse, and maybe we'll see some more classic Roczen-Tomac battles. As for Kenny, he held on, even with potential disaster everywhere on a muddy racetrack. 1-2 finishes were enough to finally get it. And it's kind of odd because when Kenny won, we all figured it would be like the laser light show and one of the most emotional highs we've ever seen in racing. This was more, I got through it, I did it. I'm not just focused on winning one race, I want to win the title. So he treated it more like business as usual, as opposed to this all-time mythical unicorn win that we thought it would be. But for Kenny, maybe that bodes well. Maybe that means that there's more wins coming and he's finally gotten all the bad luck out of the way. And speaking of that, it's also come full circle for this team right behind me, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Remember what I said about it has to be bad before you can get the feel-good comeback story? Well, we all know what happened. The team was dominating Supercross over the months, and after winning 11 out of 17 rounds, they ended up not winning any titles, with Austin Forkner going out with injury and Adam Cianciarulo crashing away the West Coast title with 3 minutes and a lap to go. We all worried that Cianciarulo would not be there mentally. Could he get motivated? Could he get it ramped up for the motocross racing season just 2 weeks later? Well, it didn't take long. He recovered. How's it going, folks?
What's up, brother?
All right. So Cianciarulo comes out, great first moto, finishes second behind Justin Cooper, who led early at Hangtown last year as a rookie, but couldn't hold on. This year he did. Cooper's gonna be strong all season. He was strong enough to win the first moto. But in the rain in Moto 2, Cianciarulo goes on to take the victory. And man, that's gotta feel good for AC. You see the track behind me? Because even in the mud, again, it's not quite the conditions where you're gonna do backflips and celebrate, jumping and leaping off the podium like it's the most incredible thing ever. He just erased those demons. He just proved that he can recover from what was a very bad night in Vegas 2 weeks ago. And to help make things, though, completely full circle, I'm not talking like 360, but Tony Hawk X Games 720 style, Cianciarulo and Roczen, the best buds who have ridden the highs, but more importantly, the lows through this sport together, managed to get their comeback stories in on the same day. These guys were really overdue for a break, and they finally got one. And by getting it out of the way early, Roczen with all the doubts of physically, is he gonna be okay? Cianciarulo with all the doubts of mentally, is he going to be okay? They've already answered those questions. That certainly doesn't mean the championships are going to be easy for them, but it's good to know that 2 fan favorites and 2 riders who have already experienced enough heartbreak are back in contention. It's a good time at Hangtown. We're going to move down south to Pala for round number 2, where we hope it doesn't rain. But even if it does, we've still got feel-good stories. That's what motocross is all about. See you from Hangtown.